always that nerve-wracking right when it's like the minute before, then you think, hopefully this button works. Oh, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have thrown that out there. Oh, we're live. I think our audio is live.
And then switch to you, and you're good.
I'm on. Hello, everyone. Welcome, Tanche and Tawau, Tutlamon, and welcome, to the Indigenous Women's Health Talk for January. My name is Carly, and I'm the program coordinator for the Indigenous Women's Health Program here at ONWA. We have a really great program for you today, and I just want to welcome you all and just give a little bit of information about what we were thinking about when we were planning and organizing and collaborating with our activity leaders who are joining us today. We were thinking about winter, and we were thinking about the bare moon and how during this time the winter can feel uncomfortable for us for a variety of reasons. The shorter days, we have that reduced exposure to sunlight, the cold weather, which can keep us isolated from each other's and in our communities, but also has us spending more time indoors. And so in a few days' time, we will be in the bare moon. And for those of you who are interested in learning more about the bare moon teachings and the grandmother moon teachings, there are more teachings available on the ONWA website, which you can access. There'll be a link posted in the chat during this event. And ONWA's been gifted these teachings, and I would also like to recognize that depending on where we live, who our ancestors are, who makes up our community, we may all have different grandmother moon teachings. And so we're just sharing the teachings that we've been gifted here at ONWA. And for the Indigenous Women's Health Talks, we've been having these events monthly for a couple years now. And our goals are always to introduce new ideas or even like revisit our like known like health-based, like our knowledge, our health-based knowledge, that we all may be familiar with. And maybe in the past you've tuned into an Indigenous Women's Health Talk and shared some of that information that you took in that day that you learned, and shared that information with your family or your friends. And today we are hoping again to just introduce some new ways to bring activity, movement, some moments of well-being and calm into your daily life. So getting back to the bare moon represents a time for introspection. And part of that introspection or self-reflection involves considering where we are going, as well as where we've been, where we've come from. And so like on this really, really cold January day, I hope that you enjoy the activity that will be shared with us and that we'll be joining in together, and enjoy this opportunity for movement, and maybe even consider for yourself if introducing new or different ways to move your body or move our water is something that you would like to invite into your life. So before we begin, I'd like to let everybody know that I put down tobacco for all of us who are gathering here, and for those who are joining in virtually at this time, or maybe even viewing later on. Marcy, miigwech, niawe to all of you. I want to just really quickly mention before we shift over to our presenters and hand the mic over to them, that we have a survey that we always post throughout the event and at frequent times, and it will be active for the next few days as well. So for those viewing later on, you can still access that survey and let us know what future Indigenous Women's Health Talk topics you might be interested in hearing about, and even just like how the live stream format worked for you today. So I also want to just let everybody know that with those surveys, we go through that information every time, and we really do collect that and look at that, and we use that information that we get to plan and create future Indigenous Women's Health Talks. So thank you so much for everyone who's provided that information and taken that time to give us that feedback in the past. We really appreciate it. Alrighty, just going over my notes here. So our Indigenous Women's Health Talk today is honoring the bare moon, movement, connection, and self-reflection. And to lead us in our first session of movement is Scott Simpson. Scott, thank you so much for joining us for his mobile wellness programming. And he's been supporting communities with their fitness and mobility goals for nearly 2 decades now, I think. Hey, Scott?
Well, yes.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today and leading us. And if you're okay with this, we'll pass the mic over to you.
Absolutely. So, as mentioned, if there's ever any questions, I guess near the end, I'll kind of jump into the movement and talk a little bit about why I do what I do. I was asked to say a little bit, and I think it kind of ties in with the bare moon. As mentioned previously, some people might have different teachings of it, so I'm going to just say how how I perceive it as. So when it comes to working out, moving, it wasn't always something that was a part of my life. Growing up through childhood, I was always, the largest kid. I was always last in gym class, and it was never a great feeling. So I had gotten into working out just for image purposes, and what you would kind of do in your late teens. And I'm making a very long story short here. Throughout the years, I stumbled across issues eating, overeating, and all that kind of stuff, and a little bit of substance abuse. So that kind of led me to sobriety. So movement came to me through sobriety in a sense. And throughout all this time, I was still kind of personal training and all that. And so with the sobriety, often comes recovery. And that's what kind of ties into the bare moon is a lot of the recovery after just getting sober was self-reflection and going into the forest, self-teaching myself hypnosis. And you can call it hypnosis, you can call it guided meditation. All of these things are stuff that I push in my practice of health and wellness to this day. But it often comes back to reflecting on yourself, bettering yourself. We usually don't just say, okay, I'm going to hit the gym and nothing's going on up here. There's always something that mentally happens in our head, whether it's a doctor had told us that we need to start moving for, living longer, or our cholesterol is too high, or any of those situations. But at the end of the day, something has to happen in our head, and mindfulness, self-reflection generally has something to do with it. So with that being said, hopefully I put a little bit in our head so we can self-reflect and work out all together. We're just going to do a few simple movements today and follow along the best you can. Something I commonly say is in any movement or workout, do what makes you feel happy. And a side note, some classes say movement doesn't make me happy, but it's up to us to, do something that we enjoy. So if some of these movements seem a little hard to you, just do your own version. When it comes to working out and moving, if something doesn't feel right in terms of a bad feeling like I'm hurt, chances are we're doing something wrong. In that case, we'd, figure out what's going wrong. So I'm going to bug everyone if you're up for it to get on up. We're going to start off. We're going to do a nice, easy, relaxing warm up, a couple of easy, relaxing muscle movements, a little bit of cardio, and a little bit of cool. And I understand that we're all kind of maybe in our living room, at our desks. This is all going to be desk friendly. So if you're all pumped up and ready, we're just going to get on up, find a space. If we're ever doing stuff like this at home, finding a space is the first step. So let's just shake our arms out and lightly hop on the spot. This is not supposed to be hard. We shouldn't be sweating or anything. We're just getting our muscles moving. The point of a warm-up is always to prime us for any cardiovascular or muscle or resistance training that we're about to do. We always want to go a little bit of upper body, so let's just push the air. Simple. Always relaxing breathing while we're doing our nice, easy, relaxing warm-up. Notice how I say nice and relaxing and easy. It's all a mindset. So if you have a taller ceiling than I do, I'm going to squat down a little bit. So just go for a push and press. Push and press. You don't have to do the squat. I just don't want to push my roof up or my ceiling. Not overthinking these whatsoever. And let's just start to slow this easy peasy movement down, shaking our arms out. This is one that messes some people up, but it's the end of the day, we're moving. Don't overthink this one. Same arm, same leg. Now, if I had to bet, probably about 50% of us that are on this call are probably thinking, okay, same arm, same leg. At the end of the day, if you don't do it perfectly, you're still moving your body. That is what matters. And let's just go an easy back row, always squeezing our back. Once again, if it feels off, change, go a little bit lower, middle. As long as we're moving is all that matters. And let's start to slow it down, shaking our arms, shaking our legs. And let's go some easy peasy knee ups. Always just breathing it out, very comfortable. We're just going for an easy warm up. I think there's going to be some game at the end of this. How many times did Scott say easy peasy? I don't know, probably going to be 100 or so. And let's just tiny little hops. All we're doing is maybe our bodies are warming up. Heart rate might be up a little bit.
I'm still muted though, right? So they're not going to hear me tapping.
And let's just go that one all the way over. Let's do it a little bit quicker this time. So let's just go for those push press. If we're feeling up to, we can hop at the same time. These are all super simple things that we can do before we eat breakfast, before we jump in the shower, get our heart rates, raise our metabolic rate for the rest of the day. Well, let's go same arm, same leg. Just kind of ripping through everything that we did, finding a flow. We're only going 10 or 15 seconds of each. So let's switch these into some easy back rows. Always squeezing our back. And let's transition these to some nice knee ups. And let's shake it on out. If our heart rate is up, maybe we'll grab a little bit of a beach break or a water break. Always make sure we're doing a little bit of movement. Drink the water. So that was just a simple warm up. Generally speaking, when you're doing a warm up, you always kind of want to prime the body for what it's about to do. We shouldn't be toasted after that, but we're just trying to get our muscles primed to say, okay, I'm ready. So next thing I'm going to get us all to do is, if you have a towel or a shirt or any piece of article of clothing, for example, found this nice towel. It's probably a towel for my dog to wipe his paws. Doesn't really matter what it is, just any article of clothing. Just gonna bug you to put that off to the side. So we're gonna start, did the warm up already. Now we're just gonna go for a little bit of muscle movement. So one common thing that's, without overcomplicating everything, I always say, butt out, chest out, push for the back of the feet. Very, very simplified way in a fitness instructor group class way to say doing a squat. So just remember, butt out, chest out, push with the back of the feet, try to maintain good posture, and all we're going to do is reach all the way to the ground, or if we're not comfortable with that, just a little bit down. Going at a pace that suits us best. Touching the ground, and we're just going to go about 10-ish. So I'll count 2, 3, 4, already halfway there, 4, 3, 2, and one wonderful last one. Shaking our arms, shaking our legs. Whenever I say shake our arms, shake our legs, usually want to just mainly shake the muscle that we just worked out, but it just makes it fun just to kind of shake ourselves out. So in that case, that was our quads, one of the largest muscle movements that we're going to use today. So just making sure that we have a little bit of mobility, stretch right in there, dynamic stretch, we could call it. And perfect. So F by now, we have our t-shirt or our dog paw towel, any article of clothing. All we're going to do is put it about shoulder-ish length ahead. So we're just going to squeeze our backs. Squeezing our backs. Squeezing our backs. And let's go 10-ish. So I'll start counting now. That is a fitness instructor scam. Never ever think a fitness instructor knows how to count to 10 because we don't. They always think 30 seconds means 2.5 minutes. And go about 5-ish more. 2, 3, 4-ish, and 5. Let's shake our arms out. Anytime we're working out, generally speaking, we want to go 2 pulls for 1 push. The reason we do that is sometimes I'll call this, I haven't had anybody offended yet, but I call it reversing what's called the elder swagger. So the elder swagger is, something that all of us tend to get throughout time, whether we're working too much, aging, we all tend to kind of curve forward. So if we can have mobility, flexibility in our chest, that's going to help us. Along with that, we strengthen our back. That's going to help us gain great posture, live longer, not have as much neck, back, lower back strength, all those good things. But at the end of the day, we always want to stretch our chest, strengthen our back, so we do the opposite of this. Always think coming back, strong back, flexible and mobile chest. And let's shake it on out. That being said, we're going to try a lat pull down. You can call this a lat pull down, or you can call this a fake pull up. I'm just going to come a little closer to the camera. So all we're doing is grabbing our towels and we're pulling it down, pretending we're that strong that we're pulling ourselves up. By the end of the day, you should feel this in your lats, middle-ish, upper-ish back. Big pull up. Let's go about 10-ish more. 1, 2, 3, 6, 7, 8, 9-ish, and perfect. And shaking our arms out. There's a nice relaxing back work that we can do. And keep in mind, if we come out of the shower first thing in the morning, and our muscles are cold, we want to regain circulation, especially in these really, really cold winter months. That's a great thing. Get our circulation, upper body. We'll get to the calf raises on the importance of that with diabetes. But at the end of the day, move a little bit more first thing in the morning, and that'll help you out. So now that we have our trusty dusty towel, we're just going to hold it maybe 5-10 inches apart, and we're just going to pull it apart, not too hard. And let's just go nice circles. Some classes I call this scone rolling. I know that most of us don't actually roll scone like this. Once again, not overthinking this. Might feel a little bit of lactic acid depending on our fitness level. And let's just go the opposite way. And perfect. And let's just toss it on the ground. So whenever we're picking something up, and this is just, I always push proactive wellness, proactive looking ahead to day-to-day life and how are we going to not get injured. So another fundamental principle in any lift that we're doing, once again, I hope we'll all dream about this later today. Is the guy on the Zoom call saying, butt out, chest out, push with the back of your feet. And in reality, it's a simple concept, but it's going to protect our lower backs. So say we have a towel, say we have a bag of potatoes, whatever it is, say we just went hunting, we need to grab something, get right on top of it, butt out, chest out, push with the back of the feet. And because it's such a powerful movement, let's shoot for 15. So grabbing, butt out, chest out, pushing with the back of the feet. Butt out, chest out, pushing with the back of the feet. We'll call this exercise picking something up the proper way. We'll drop it. And like I said before, since the guy in this video doesn't know how to count to 15, let's go about 8 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and let's go about 3-ish more. 1, 2, and 3. Shake it on out. Once again, shaking our arms, shaking our legs. Not feeling too stressed, but we're feeling, okay, we're warmed up. We're doing something for our bodies. These are some of those primal movements we can do. So the next one we're going to do, we can call it a squat. We can call it a squat press. We can call it a thruster. We're not necessarily naming different movements for the sake of doing this as an online thing. But if you have a chair, if you're used to doing squats, do what you would normally do. But if you're brand new to exercise, grab a chair. All we're doing is sitting down long enough that it bothers us that we got to get back up. We're just sitting down, and those fundamental principles still thrive in this condition. Butt out, chest out, pushing with the back of the feet. We're going to push up with all of the might, putting our hands in the air like we just don't care. So let's go butt out, chest out, pushing with the back of the feet, and pressing up. And as always, sitting down long enough that it bothers us, we got to get back up. 3. And since your fitness instructor does not know to count, let's just do 10 more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 4, 3, 2, and one last one. Perfect. Let's shake our arms, shake our legs out a little bit. Might feel a little bit of lactic acid and or burn in our legs. That's a-okay. And last one we'll do just for the muscle in terms of timing. Let's just go up and down. Easy peasy calf raises. And don't overthink this movement. Yes, our quads are a larger muscle, a lot of other muscles, but our feet and our quad and our calves are always something that picks up impact, especially if we're doing something like stairs, walking on uneven terrain. And let's shake it on out. And that's it for the muscle part. So grab some beach if you need it. The next one, I'm going to just maybe touch a little bit on cardio, since it's never really comfortable to do high intensity cardio in our house. But find something you enjoy doing. If it's a brisk walk, if it's rough housing with your dog, rough housing with your kids, rough housing with our grandkids, anything that we can do to get our heart rate up. So it can be knee ups, it can be some of those movements that we did as warm ups, butt kickers, jogging on the spot. First thing in the morning, we might get post oxygen energy. We might have afterburn, burning more calories for the day, but just get something in there that helps you with cardio. So I'll just end off with about 2 more movements, and then I'll talk a little bit about how to incorporate these into your life. Sometimes in group classes, facilitating, people start calling these oh no's. That's where everyone says oh no. So especially after an arm day, just gonna go tiny little arm circles. Oh, there's that word, easy peasy. See, let's call these easy peasies, nice, easy, and relaxing. And let's go about 5 medium. And let's go for 3 nice and big. 1, 2, 3, and whatever we do it one way, we got to do it the other way. So nice tiny little circles. And let's go 5 medium. And 3 nice and big. And shaking our arms out. Last one we're going to do is just a couple butt kicks. This is kind of a stretch for our quad. When we are stretching at the end of a workout, generally speaking, we want to hold a stretch for at least 20 seconds. Just the purpose of time, we're not going to do all that together. And if you have a chair beside you, next I'm going to bug you to do holding onto the chair, pointing our toe towards us, and just doing a little bit of a calf / hamstring stretch. Once again, not overthinking this. Let's switch legs. Just feeling a nice leg burn. And let's shake our arms, shake our legs out a little bit. And there's the movement part of everything. The achieving which, if you actually did it and didn't just sit there and watch, if you did, that's a-okay too. But I'm just going to talk a little bit about all of this. So warm up, do something that just raises your heart rate up. This workout should not have made anybody toasted, but like anything, we listen to things in schools. We listen to, we might go to a conference or something. And if we pick one thing up from that conference, that is what matters. We can read a book. Are we going to learn every single lesson in that book? Absolutely not. But you can probably remember if you picked up one thing that you put into perspective in your day-to-day life. And if there's only one thing you learn from that, think about butt out, chest out, push for the back of your feet. Maybe even just adding while you're at work. Sitting on a chair at work. Butt out, chest out, pushing with the back of the feet. Doing this maybe every so often. All those tiny little things matter. And do what fits with your lifestyle. And I don't usually share what my own personal workout routine is, but I'm going to tell you something that matches my lifestyle. It's going to look different throughout everyone else, but don't overthink health and fitness. As long as you move a little bit more, eat a little cleaner, you're going to do better. If you move a lot more and you eat a lot cleaner, you're going to do even better. But at the end of the day, we're moving forward. We're either moving forward, moving backwards. We're not usually staying in the same spot. So, for example, my personal workout routine, Mondays, I don't work out. Tuesdays, I run lower body fitness classes. Wednesdays, I run an upper body fitness class. Thursdays, I facilitate a lower body class. Fridays, I facilitate a core and cardio class. And on the weekend, because it's my work, I'll do my own personal work. So there's only one day a week that I get to do. And that will stay true for all of us, whether we have a physical job, whether we're in construction, we're sitting at a desk, we're sitting at a desk. I highly recommend, for example, those back squeezes, flexibility, mobility in our chest, strength training in our back. So remember, prevent the elder swagger. The same thing applies. We sit all the time, right? Our hamstrings will always get tight. So if you can just add tiny little hamstring mobility stretches, that can be an absolute game changer in your life. So it doesn't matter where you are in a fitness journey. Don't overcomplicate it. Stick to it. Move a little bit more. Eat a little bit better. And the one thing in light of the bare moon is always take a moment, whether we're at work, we find a place in the forest, reflect on your life, reflect on your goals. If we reflect on what we're doing in life and be true and honest to ourselves, that's where the true knowledge comes from. Reflecting, maybe reaching out for advice, but just make the time for yourself. If we're in the forest, going for a walk, laying in bed, sitting 20 minutes, shutting our phone off, grab a pad of paper and a pen. That's it. Self-reflect in light of the bare moon, move a little bit more, eat a little bit better, and we'll have generally healthier life. So, Shimigwich for listening to this, and really excited to see the next one. And I don't know if we're doing questions or not, but I just thought it'd end it like that.
Wait, Jordan, oh, can you hear me? One moment. Hi, everybody. Are you able to hear me, Scott?
Yes.
Oh,
now I can hear you.
Thank you so much. That was really fantastic. Jordis and I here were behind the scenes following along. What you had mentioned about that head connection, physical activity, just like some things I was reflecting on was that the butt out, chest out, and then with that movement, I really had to focus to keep that position. And I was saying to Jordis, I keep sort of messing this up where it was something that I think with practice, and with that that mindfulness and that intention, will take some, I don't know, it'll be beneficial just to have that mind connection with that activity. There was one other thing I was going to say. I love that you also had said, pull that one thing out of today's session here with you. And I wonder for those who are listening in or watching now or watching later, if there was one thing that they would like to share in the chat for Scott. Just what was one thing today, listening in on him, that really stood out for you? That even maybe that you might think about taking into your day tomorrow or tonight before bed. We would really love to hear about that. Thank you so much, Scott, for leading us in this. It was really, really great.
No problem, Igwich.
It was nice seeing you again, friend. Stick around if you'd like. Now we're going to move on to our next activity leader. And we have Colleen Dolce joining us. She's in Thunder Bay, Ontario as well here. And she's the owner of Radiant Yoga with Colleen. Colleen, you offer a variety of yoga classes I've seen online, and you even have a virtual class for those who might be interested. And her website we'll post the link as well in our chat. Colleen, I'm so thankful that you've been able to join us today. I was in the past, this was a couple years ago now, that I was able to join in on one of your evening sessions, and I went from feeling really tired. It was just really, I felt like later at night for me, and I was really unmotivated, but I pushed myself through to join in, and I felt so miraculously different. I felt super positive. I just had this calm, energetic feeling after. And so I'm really excited for those joining in and getting to join along with you today. Thank you so much for being here today.
You're welcome.
Welcome, Colleen.
It is kind of like that, right? It is kind of miraculous sometimes. You could drag yourself to class, and the only reason you're going maybe is someone else is twisting your arm and bringing you to class. But it's so amazing how you walk out a little bit taller, a little bit more freer, of you know, you've got more positive energy, more self-awareness, and it feels good. So, you know, that's one of the reasons I think it's good to join classes with friends or family or whatever, because they kind of make you go sometimes when you don't want to go, and you might be the person making them go the next week. But yoga's miraculous like that. Any kind of movement, for sure.
In a way, when you think that
Oh,
there
I
has to
can't
be
hear
such
you
this
now.
like mental. Oh, so sorry. Jordan
Your
is going to make
microphone's turned
sure.
off.
Oh, you'll see me here. So sorry. I'm going to just turn away so I can also see you here. I also think it's really interesting how there really is like that connection back to that idea of like self-reflection and introspection. There is for a lot of us with movement and activity and bringing that into our lives, there really has to have almost that piece where you have to mentally be like, I'm going to do this and think about why I'm going to do this. And because once you're in that activity, you're there and you're present. But I find for me, I wonder if people who are joining in and listening feel the same, but sometimes just getting my shoes on and getting out the door and committing to that is the hardest part.
Yeah, and you know, yoga, or what Scott was just presenting, it's a personal, intimate practice. It's between you and your body. And some people are just used to doing competitive sports where they think, well, I better not go, I'm not going to be up to it, and I'm going to let my team down. And everything they've ever done has been in a group. Everything. They've always, you know, their performance affects the whole group. That's not what yoga's about, or I think what Scott was doing, it's all about you. And some days, yeah, you bring your best, and your best isn't that great. It doesn't matter. Other days you walk in like, you know, you're walking on air. It'll be whatever it'll be. So you drag yourself there, you get there, and then it's all about you. It's just how this practice, and same thing, your chest up, shoulders back. It's how you feel. It's breathing practice. It's meditation practice. Yoga's pretty special. So I'm so thankful that you brought me in here. And I think you mentioned you wanted me to talk a little bit about how I came to this practice. But I feel like I want you guys to move while I'm talking. Is that okay? Okay.
Great. Yeah.
Okay, good. So I'm going to sit on a chair because, you know, why not? While I'm sitting, I can move. And I do teach chair yoga in Thunder Bay, and laughter yoga and meditation yoga and yoga with mats. But I'm going to sit in the chair. So just, if you could see me, move how I'm moving. I came to yoga as a teen. I was every mother's nightmare, honest to goodness, and every parent's nightmare. And my dad got me a book when I was about 14, and they had all these cooly-wooly looking people on the, you know, in all the pictures. And I thought, oh, yeah, if I'm going to rebel, who am I going to become if I do rebel? I thought, I want to be a yoga person. So I started doing yoga. So whatever I'm doing, you're supposed to do, right? And very quickly I realized that doing postures and the moving made me feel calmer and more at peace with myself. So I was doing it because I wanted to look a certain way, but it really, very quickly, there I was 14, 15 years old, it was in the 70s, and I was thinking, oh, this makes me feel like happier, like more positive. So I stuck with it. And then I went back to it in my 30s when I had 4 kids quite quickly, twins and then 2 more. And I was tired all the time. Can you imagine? I was really tired. So I started really getting back into my yoga practice, and it gave me more energy. And it gave me a peaceful, calm energy, not an antsy energy, not an energizing bunny energy. It gave me an energy that, you know, felt really calm and sweet, really sweet. So, okay, open your fingers wide, close your eyes, open your mouth wide. Good, we do hold tension in our jaw. So it saved me when my kids were little. Once my kids were teenagers, it really, really saved me, because the yoga brings a sense of self-awareness. So you're doing better, healthier things for yourself. A sense of calmness and peace. But the self-awareness, when you're angry or frustrated, or if you have grief, it makes you aware that this is what's going on, and you're able to to be in a midst of chaos or whatever experience you're in without buying into it, really, without your whole body going for a dive. Because we know stress, tension, and anxiety, they can give you ulcers. A lot of anger, a lot of tension can give you heart attacks. I mean, stress, tension, anxiety, and grief can do all kinds of physical things to your body. So the yoga practice, well, if Scott was saying he's going to say easy peasy 100 times, I'm going to say breathe. So inhale and exhale. That's what our yoga practice is really about, moving with the breath. Try that again. One hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. As you inhale, let the arms float forward, drop right back, look up. As you exhale, bring the hands in, give yourself a hug. Inhale, open wide, drop the head back, look up. Exhale, bring the hands all the way in. Inhale, open wide, feel the belly expand and the chest rise. And exhale, bring the hands back in and down. So when we become tense, we end up with a short, shallow breath, and that begats more tension, more anxiety. So let's do some movement and think about everything you do in relation to a breath. So let's just try with the right hand. Inhale the right hand up. Reach up and then reach over to your left. So we exhale as we reach, and then inhale, come back up, windmill the hands. Left hand's coming up, we're going to lean on the right side and reach to the left. Inhale up, and we're going to move kind of slowly because we want to slow down the breath. The more relaxed you get, the more that your breath starts to deepen, you get a nice rhythm. You know, you can tell people are asleep sometimes, right? If you're listening to their breath, it's really deep and even. And we want to have that calmness and peace that the breath can bring. Inhale up, exhale over. Inhale all the way back up, pause. Twist to your right, bring the left hand behind your right knee, right hand on the chair behind you. Inhale, let's come forward now. Reach forward and exhale, twist. Inhale forward and exhale, twist. So nice slow movement. Come all the way forward and then twist. So what we're working on now is the 7 movements of the spine. So we're going to do twisting and a stretch, arching and rounding. Come all the way back, and then we did a lateral stretch to begin with. Hands on your knees. Inhale, come forward, shoulders back, chin up. And then exhale, come all the way back. Tuck the tailbone under, tuck the chin under. Inhale forward. So we want energy to move through the body. And sometimes it gets stuck or stagnant. If you wake up in the morning and you're sometimes thinking, oh my God, when can I have my next nap? Yoga's for you because it gives you energy. And next time you come forward, pause, and then we're going to circle the torso, big circles. What good is it being strong or flexible or having great balance if you don't have good energy? If you can't get out of bed in the morning. So the movement with the breath helps to get that energy or life force flowing, and circle the other way. We have to start to move to get things flowing. And then if you move with your breath, can you hear yourself breathe? And come all the way back up. Bring your knees together. The other thing is to take responsibility for yourself. So if coming into a full forward fold or anything that I guide you through today hurts you, or you know maybe you shouldn't be doing it, don't do it. Listen to your own instincts. We're going to come into a forward fold. So we'll plant the feet, lift up and out of the waistline. Bring your shoulder blades back and down. We've got the hips doing a little roll forward. Actually, before we move on to that, let's talk about that stance. And Scott definitely talked about it. He talked about butt out, chest forward, I think. I love that. So if you are here, there, I've got my butt out, right? And then here's kind of neutral, and then here's a tuck. So try that. Hands on your hips. Okay, butt out. In yoga, we call it the pelvic tilt. And then back to neutral. And then tuck. And then neutral. And then tilt. So yeah, you want a little bit of a tilt with your pelvis, because otherwise there's this that happens all the time, that bulging out in the back. And we want a nice free flow of energy. So first off, we get taller. That's the 7th movement of the spine. Just imagine you could get taller. And a little bit of a tilt, which butt out, chest up. Okay. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, reach forward. Here's our first forward fold. You could drop all the way down. Use the strength of the legs when you come up. So press down to get back up, and then bring your hands around behind you. Bring your hands right to your lower back area. Squeeze your elbows towards each other as you lift the chest up and peek up and release. Good. Release. Inhale the arms back up. Exhale. All the way forward, and you can even bring your arms back behind you. And now use the strength of the legs. Press down to come back up. Reach up, and the arms come around behind you. So we're getting to see, as we move here, let's try that one more time, the range of motion that you have in the shoulders. And all the way down, and all the way up. Reach up, reach around behind you. This doesn't work for everybody if you have really sore shoulders, but if it does, imagine your elbows coming towards each other behind you, and release. Good. So in yoga, we always talk about inhale, exhale, breathe, and then sit up straight, because it affects how you feel about yourself. We call it, I call it, here's teenageitis. A lot of teenagers are sitting like this, and then same for some elderly people, right? Because they lose the core strength to sit up. So if you can, sit up tall. And think about how that makes you feel, because yoga works mind, body, and spirit. So sitting up tall, right off the bat, can make you feel strong and confident and feel like there's some self-esteem there, even if there isn't. Haven't you heard of fake it till you make it? So plant the feet, let the hips roll forward like butt out, lift, chest comes up, shoulders are back, and then down, and breathe. So it's not even just, so keep breathing, nice deep breath. It's not even just how do you feel, how would you like to be perceived? Would you like to be perceived as someone that has strength and self-confidence? Sit up tall, walk tall, sit up tall. Both of those are really, really important. So we worked our spine. We did to the left, to the right, a twist, arching and rounding. So let's just do a little check into the neck. Drop the chin down to the chest. As you inhale, drag your chin all the way over to one side, peek over the shoulder, and exhale down. Inhale all the way over to the other side, peek over the shoulder, exhale down. Lift the chin up towards the ceiling. This time we're going to drop back into that back bend again. Pulse the chin until you feel the lengthening on the front of the throat. And release. Drop the right ear to the shoulder. And release. Drop the left ear to the shoulder. and release. And now with your chin parallel to the floor, we'll do a little side to side. So I'm so glad I was able to watch some of Scott's presentation first, because otherwise I'd be repeating it. And so much of this stuff about, oh, that's wonderful, we do that. So you did a lot of strengthening for the arms, right? We do that in our yoga practice too. Let's do a stretch now. Take your left arm straight out to the side, bring the left arm forward, and then draw it towards you. This is a great stretch. And release. Bring your right arm across in front of you. Draw it towards you. Good. And release. So a nice stretch for behind you, between your shoulder blades. Sometimes it gets really tight there. We get knots. This one, we're going to bring the hands forward. Bring the right arm across, the left arm underneath. Make a big X. And then see if you could wrap your arms around, bring the palms together. If the palms don't want to come together, maybe you've got the back of the hands together, or you can grab a thumb and forefinger, or maybe your hands are out to the side. If you have injuries, maybe you're giving yourself a hug. That works too. Inhale, lift the elbows up and press the elbows away from you. Press the elbows towards the front of your space. And then imagine you could direct the breath into the back body. So depending on skeletal structure, you might not be able to bring your hands like this. If it hurts, if it doesn't feel good, give yourself a hug instead, because that's really nice too. And then inhale, open the arms wide. Exhale, bring the hands back. We're going to cross the left on top, this time the right underneath. Wrap the arms around. And you could have, again, I'll come up a little closer, palms together, or back of the hands, or maybe you're just giving yourself a hug, depending on if you have shoulder rotator cuff issues, or bursitis, or tendonitis, or something. Inhale, lift the elbows up. Exhale, press the elbows towards the front of your space, once again. And imagine you could direct all the breath into the back body. Feel it. And release. So in my classes, I also use like tennis balls, and we go against the wall and we get really beautiful massages with the tennis balls against the walls. There's so many things you could do at home, just in your own space. But I know, I didn't tell anybody to bring those today, so we won't do those. But if you could really feel that, if you're thinking, oh, I could really feel that, then try the tennis balls, or a lacrosse ball, or a physio ball, or a tune-up ball, and you just put them behind you and lean into them against the wall. And I see you guys just did a lot of squats, so we won't do squats either. But that's what you do. You go up and down on the wall. But let's just grab hold of the right leg and bring it up. And press away with the heel. Bring the toe towards you. Just notice how that feels. So yoga teachers, what do we say? We say breathe, inhale, exhale. Notice how that feels. Bring the leg up, 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 and release. And if you sit all the time, then, I don't know, I think I'd set a buzzer on my watch to stop every now and then and do some stretches. Because getting up, eventually you're going to be hobbling away from your desk. Every time you get up, you think you're going to move across the room, and really you just hobble. So this is a good one to do. And then point your toe. You might feel that on the front of the foot or the shin. And we'll go heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, away we go. And now circle the right foot. We want our bodies, we want flexibility, circle the other way. Flexibility, strength, we want to have balance. And we want to have the energy to facilitate all of those. Bring your right leg up a little bit. See if you can grab hold of the ankle. And if you still have that towel that Scott had you use, or strap or tie, you could use a tie here instead. You could always use a tie, but I'm just going to grab my ankle or my foot, bring the leg out to the right. So lift the knee up, bring it up and back. If you've got a skirt on, just do whatever you have to. Up and back. And again, remember, yoga is not a competition. It's all about, what kind of range of motion do I have? You want to have a curious mind as to what's going on. And then circle the foot. Curious mind about yourself and how your body works. Circle the other way. And release. And then just let that right leg do a little windshield wiper side to side. It's 3 o'clock. Okay, let's try the left leg. Bring the left leg up. And we'll do a little up and down. Because we have to do both sides or we're not going to be balanced, right? Good. And then heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe, heel, toe. Just noticing how that feels. Bend the knee, grab hold of the foot with the left hand. And I like what Scott said. Try different things. And you'll come away with one thing from everything you try. And some of them will resonate with you so strongly, and then circle, that you'll want to go back, or you'll just want to keep it up at home. There's something out there for everybody. Circle the other way. Good. And release the leg. Let the leg do a little side to side. So we worked our spine and our neck, our hips a little bit, our legs. But I hope you also have awareness now on breath. And I'll move just a little bit closer so you could hear me. Nice deep breath in. See if you can slow it down. So you can stay with the breath. And I think if there are any questions, you can let me know now. You could nice deep breath in. And if there was one thing I wanted you to go away with from this 25 minutes, it would be breathe, 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 breathe. Be conscious of how you breathe. Stand up straight, walk tall. Thank you so much for coming. Namaste, Miigwech. Thank you for having me.
Miigwech, Colleen, that was fantastic. That was really great. Jordis and I, again, were in the background here practicing and talking about what movements were difficult, partially because we're like surrounded by desks here and we've got all these chairs and things around us, but even just ones that we were kind of envious that you were able to just sort of like grab your foot and bring your leg up. But that was really great. Yeah. I really also loved the pelvis tilt and just practicing those 3 positions. I thought that was really impactful for me, just to get that idea about that awareness. And again, bring that connection and that mindfulness into that movement again. I wonder if anybody out there has... Oh, so sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. We have probably a bit of a delay.
Okay, I think that's, anything you do is better than doing nothing. And you could start off the gentlest. Those 3 movements, arching, rounding, and lateral stretches. You could start off with the littlest things and then build up, or just stay with that, because they're going to make a difference. You're going to feel really good.
I really love that you said that. I think that Scott said something similar to that too, where just like moving around the house and just for a minute or whatever time you have just to practice some movement. And I think that's really good to share. For some of us, we might think we need to do this like really large and big effort, but if we have a minute or 30 seconds in our day and we can bring in that movement, that whatever it is that we feel like we need or we want to do, that I like that you said that. It's still really great.
Definitely,
to
definitely. And
no matter how small or how big.
And if you live in Northern Ontario like I do, sometimes you just don't want to leave the house. So there's so many things out there you could do, like in your house. You just have to be creative. You look around, okay, grab a towel, grab a strap, a tie, a blanket, grab, the dog's ball. The bumpy ones are really nice for massaging against the wall. A dryer ball. You could get creative. You don't need to spend a lot of money. And I think, like I'm Zoom online here every single Sunday morning. There's lots of things that you could bring into your own home so you don't have to drive somewhere during the blizzards or when it's 31 below. You could do them at home.
And you can join everybody in their living rooms with them.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll post again the link to your website. We're also going to post our survey. If anybody enjoyed that session with Colleen today, please feel free to share with us if there's any portion of her session that really stood out for you, or if there was anything that you really felt connected to or interesting. We would really love to hear from you. We had another presenter lined up for today, but unfortunately our schedule has to change. And so we will no longer be having a Métis jigging today. We'd like to apologize, and hopefully we can arrange at a later date to have some other in live stream some Métis jigging. I was a little nervous, to be honest, about joining in with Métis jigging. I didn't know I could handle that cardio at this stage of the winter. I've definitely been staying in. We've had some really cold temperatures here in Ontario, definitely in Thunder Bay. And I really want to say thank you, Colleen, for joining us today and just bringing some more ideas and some more information to us so that we can all take in this information and make the best choices for ourselves. Knowing ourselves and knowing what's right for us, those teachings that the Bear Moon offers us. And I believe it's in just a few more days that the full moon will be here with us. And we just really, again, want to thank everybody for watching, for joining in. If at any time there's any questions that anybody has, we will still be able to view the chat later, and we can always pass on any questions, any comments that you would like for the presenters. So we want to welcome anybody, regardless of when you're viewing this live stream and this event, to let us know what you thought, to fill out that survey if you would like. We still every month offer a draw gift for anybody who takes that time, those few minutes, to provide us with some feedback and also with some ideas and suggestions about what future health talks they would like to see. Thank you everyone for joining us today again. Thank you to Scott, to Colleen, and do we have?
I was just gonna say we have some nice comments here. Thank you. This was very relaxing. Yet we know we were moving, which is beneficial. And I'm a sloucher, and I liked the back stretches. And then
Same.
Having arthritis, I could follow along and do what I could.
Yes, I felt that way too. Jordis and I could both hear our joints cracking. We weren't sure whose was whose at one point. So it is really good to have these moments for movement. And for some of us, it really does help to have someone in the room saying, move your leg and try this. And but it really also helps us, I guess, connect to our body too, that this feels good, or this is something that, like, it might actually be sore maybe, or difficult. And it's just always like really good information to take, to slow down and to reflect on ourselves and what we like, what we need. Thanks so much for reading those out, Jordis. We had a really great time. Sorry, I turned the microphone away. I hope everyone could hear. So I think we will say farewell to everyone, and thank you again for joining in. Take care, everybody. Bamapi.
Okay, I think, just so you know, I think you're still on. Okay, okay, good. I thought I'd just warn you. Oh, I see. I see. That was very interesting, and I'm so glad I got to see some of Scott. He's awesome. Yeah, yeah.